I have a truth that I want to reveal today, which is if you are condemning somebody else, you have that within yourself too. Let me give you an example. This morning, I saw a little game play out on social media. I see it as a game because it's just funny when you see people's shadows come out to attack other shadows, and by doing that, they're actually displaying their own shadow. So let me explain. Somebody in the hypnotherapy field was actually condemning other hypnotherapists for going on social media and saying, I've been invited to this convention to speak as a speaker, when in fact those people have applied to speak at that convention and in fact have to pay to speak at that convention, which is pretty normal in the speaking world in terms of where you are in your journey. At the beginning of your journey, you do need to apply to speak at conventions and conferences, and you do have to pay to be that speaker at those conferences and conventions. And so when you come out and say, I've been invited to speak, it sounds as if somebody has rang you up and said, hey, would you like to speak at my conference? When in fact, that's not the case. But this is the interesting point. So yes, that is a shadow that this person is pointing out, which is the shadow of wanting to be acknowledged, wanting to be appreciated, they're wanting people to say, oh, you're fantastic that you've been invited to speak at this conference and this convention. However, he then went on to say, and anyway, he said, if you are that busy and that successful in your business, you don't have time to speak at all these conventions and conferences. So what he's then saying is, I am so busy and I am so successful that I don't have time to speak at these conferences and conventions. So you see that by condemning somebody else's shadow, he's then revealing his own, which is, hey, look at me, look how great I am because I am so successful and so busy, I don't have time to be speaking at conventions and conferences. And that's what happens when you condemn somebody else. When you condemn somebody else's shadow, you are in fact revealing that you still have that part of the shadow inside you. So your shadow is actually the judge, and it is also the perpetrator. And so when you find yourself condemning someone else, judging someone else, be aware that that shadow exists within you, because when you have dealt with that, when you have resolved that aspect of shadow, then you're not judging somebody else for still having it, because it's all part of the journey. So we're all on this journey together, and in this journey, our shadows keep appearing and they come up to be seen. So at the beginning, we don't see them at all because we're living very unconsciously and we're unaware that they exist. But then as we awaken to the truth of who we are, we see them. And the more we're awakened and the more our consciousness rises in terms of our level of awareness, the more we can see our shadow. We can see it everywhere. We can see it played out everywhere. We can see it instantly if we haven't smiled at the waiter. We can see it instantly if we've made a judgment about somebody or something. We can see it instantly if we've walked past a piece of paper on the ground and haven't picked it up to put it in the bin. We can see it instantly where we think we are better than someone else. We can see it instantly everywhere all the time. And that's because we've become hypersensitive to our shadow, because now we're looking out for it. Now we're watching it. Now we are seeing it and we're observing it. And the moment that we do that, it starts to dissolve. So the question to ask yourself in order for your shadow to be alchemized is, what part of me am I still judging? Because if I catch myself judging someone else, there's a part of me that I'm still judging. What is that part? And that's the part that needs to be seen. And it's not to be judged, it's just to be seen. And once you see it, it starts to disappear. That's all we need to do. That's all we need to do is see it. We make everything so complicated. We don't need to heal it. We just need to see it. And so how do we see it? We become aware of who we are judging, why we are judging, and then we see it in ourselves. It's that simple. If this video resonated with you, I'd love for you to tell me what part of your shadow you have seen. Because when we're able to own up to our shadow, then we are living in truth. And that's the only thing I want for you, is to live in truth. So live in truth. Live in truth. See it. Live it. Be it. Sending you all my love.